What is up, YouTube? Welcome to Panfro Games. In today's video, we're breaking down the brand new 7-star raid Inteleon for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. And I'm also going to show you what Pokemon that you should build to defeat this thing, from special attackers, physical attackers, and supporters. And of course, guys, you like my type of content, please leave a like on this video, subscribe if you're new. I really appreciate it, and consider becoming a channel member today by hitting that join channel member button below. So to begin, we notice 7-star Inteleon is Tera Ice. Ice typing is one of the worst defensive typing ever, which is going to be great for us, and I think it's going to be a relatively easy raid because of this typing. Ice is going to be weak to fire, it's going to be weak to steel, it's going to be weak to fighting, and it's going to be weak to rock. So we have a lot of different options to try to beat this thing. We know it's going to have as a hidden ability Sniper. Now, Sniper, what it actually does, it doesn't actually increase the critical hit rate, but instead it increases the damage on crits. So normally crits are 1.5 damage and they ignore all status debuffs and buffs. But with Sniper, crit damage is actually going to be 2.25, which is a pretty insane amount of damage. So we're going to definitely have to watch out for that. Now, breaking down its stats, overall, pretty pitiful stat-wise outside of its special attack and speed. 125 is nothing to scoff at. This thing is going to be an absolute monster. We're going to have to watch out for this. And 120 speed means it's going to outspeed a lot of our Pokemon. So it's going to be harder to run like strats that are going to depend on our speed. But otherwise, 70 HP is pretty bad. 65 defense and 65 speed def is really terrible. So this thing is really frail, and frail stats of ice typing means this thing's gonna be pretty easy to probably knock out in 2 turns. And I do think I am developing a 2-turn strat right now. So this is not gonna be a hard raid. I think it's gonna be one of the easier 7-star raids that we've seen so far. Now, this thing has a crazy special move pool. I even broke down the special move pool into 2 different sections here because it's pretty crazy. So because it is an ice type, it has to have some ice moves. And I do think the ice moves are going to be Ice Beam and Blizzard. And the big thing here is 125 special attacks a lot. Blizzard hits super hard. And if it does set up Snowscape, which it does learn, Snowscape means Blizzard won't miss. Snowscape was also going to increase its defense by 50% because it is an ice type due to Tera Ice typing here. I do think that's going to be the big combo of Snowscape Blizzard. And Ice Beam probably is going to be the move it uses when Blizzard and Snowscape aren't up, so it can just hit you with Ice Beam. Now, of course, it needs Water-type moves because it is a Water-type Pokemon at the end of the day. Hydro Pump is going to be the big killer move. However, Snipe Shot is its signature move, which has a higher chance of hitting a critical hit. So if Snipe Shot crits and has the ability Sniper, oh man, we are going to die, and that is going to be terrifying. So Snipe Shot is going to be scary if you get unlucky. And since it doesn't have a way to increase its crit hit rate, Snipe Shot is going to be a 12% chance of actually critting. Still pretty high, but it's not going to be as bad as Samurott in my opinion. And other special moves that it has, Shadow Ball, which is pretty big, and Dark Pulse. Honestly, I can see it having one of these, but not both of them. It's good general coverage. I could see probably Shadow Ball overall, just Shadow Ball has better coverage than Dark Pulse, but both of them are pretty scary. Shadow Ball drops that special defense stat by 1 stage, which is a 10% chance of that happening. Dark Pulse has a 10% chance of flinching, so we have to worry about those things. Now, Mud Shot is going to be the coverage move here that we need to worry about for Steel type Pokemon. So if you're 4 times weak to ground, I would probably not come to this raid because Mud Shot has to come here. It beats rock types, it beats fire types, and it beats steel types, which is going to be defeating most of the things that end up defeating Inteleon. And then Air Slash is going to be here to beat the fighting types that beat ice type. Air Slash has a good chance of flinching, 30% chance, so we're going to have to worry about that too. I don't think there's any physical moves that are worth talking about. If it does have any physical moves, I'll take that as a blessing, and that'll be pretty great. We already talked about Snowscape, but Double Team is a big fear. Haze is a pretty decent fear too. So if we try to set up on us and like it uses Haze, that's going to really hurt us. And Taunt on turn 1 can also hurt us as well. But I really do think it's just going to be Snowscape and then probably Double Team, but we'll have to see. But overall, I'm not really afraid of this thing. We have a lot of great tools and a lot of good Pokemon that are used to defeat this 7-star Ice type Inteleon. Now, let's begin with our special attacker build, and we're going with Gholdengo. Gholdengo, we're running as a Tera Steel type with a Life Orb to maximize our damage. We don't care about the damage it's going to do back to us because with Gholdengo, you can actually probably knock this Inteleon out on the 2nd turn if you have a good team, and this doesn't seem to be that hard. So we are going max special attack, max Spadef. The reason why you go max Spadef is because Inteleon is most likely going to be a pure special attacker. So there's no point in putting those points into HP because you want to maximize that Spadef. You just end up taking less damage overall. And the ability good as gold is always his ability. It's not really going to matter in this case, but it's going to be pretty solid overall. So the moves we're going for is one, the fact that we can set up Nasty Plot is massive, which makes this Pokemon phenomenal. We can get ourselves a +2 special attack, but we can also drop the Inteleon special defense as well, but put it to -2. However, it is an 85% accurate hit here, so 15% chance it misses. However, you know, this is just here as a 4th move. If you are playing with 1 Gholdengo and 3 supports, then you won't have to rely on Metal Sound, and then you can probably lead into a turn 2 kill with this thing. Now, we have 2 Steel type moves. Flash Cannon is the safe move. You know, this thing will do a lot of damage. It could lower the Spadef, which is nice. 10% chance on that. But, you know, it doesn't do that much damage, right? Now, if you want to go for a tactical nuke here, you're going to go for Steel Beam. Steel Beam, base 140 power, 95 accuracy. So it can miss, which sucks. And when you do hit it, you do 50% damage to yourself, like Belly Drum. However, this is a tactical nuke. This is how you close out the fight. And maybe, hell, if you know how to do the turn 2 strat, this is the move you click on turn 2 to one-shot the Inteleon. So this move is going to be very important to get. Now, this is a TM you have to find in the wild, so make sure that you can actually go get this for your Gholdengo. Now, it's also to say that, yes, the Inteleon is probably going to have Shadow Ball or Dark Pulse. Running the calcs on a max Spadef Gholdengo at level 100, Shadow Ball or Dark Pulse is only going to do 41 to 48% of your max life, meaning it's going to need to hit you with 3 Shadow Balls to take you out. So keep that in mind, that yes, we will be able to live a couple of these, and of course, if you have supporters who put up a light screen or the fence cheer, then you can definitely survive for a pretty long time within the raid. Now for our physical attackers, and we got a bunch of them. Number 1 is Berserker with a Life Orb and Terra Steel. Now, Berserker, you want to have max attack and max Spadef here, and the hidden ability, Steely Spirit. If you have 4 Berserkers, you are going to do a massive boost to steel type damage. And I don't know if you guys remember the old Berserker raid strat, how to beat any 6-star raid with a group of 4. We're going to be doing the same exact strats with Berserker again, because there's going to be some stabs, super effective Iron Heads coming out, and it's going to be phenomenal. And Iron Head's going to be our main damaging move. Swords Dance is how we buff our attack. Screech is how we lower that defense. And then Helping Hand onto the attacker on our team. So if you are running 4 Berserkers, turn 1 is probably going to be like you Swords Dance, everyone else Screeches, and then 1 person attack cheers, 1 person Helping Hands you, and you get that 2-turn one-shot with Iron Head. And that's why you have the Life Orb to further boost that damage. Even with the Ice Defense boost within the snow, this is going to do a massive amount of damage and may even lead to a turn 2 one-shot. Next up is Iron Hands. And yes, people are going to meme about Iron Hands, but this is probably the first time Iron Hands is going to be a legitimate Pokemon that can probably solo this raid too. Iron Hands with a Fighting Terror is going to be great. The good news here is, yes, it could have Mud Shot, it could have Air Slash. However, Iron Hands is going to be pretty thick in here, and it's going to be doing a lot of damage and getting that HP back. So we're going to use a booster energy to boost our attack stat even further. And we're going max attack Adamant Nature with plus Spadef as well. So we can take those special attacking hits a lot better. And we already have a massive HP stat. So we're going to be nice and tanky. And pretty much here, we're just going to be Drain Punching and Swords Dancing and just getting that HP back. Now, I wouldn't suggest Belly Drum to go for turn 1 just in case, like, it does a lot of damage, does more than 50% to you, and then you die. That may not be the best case. However, if I'm wrong, I haven't run the calcs myself, but if you can take, you know, that Blizzard or that Hydro Pump, and then, you know, you have enough HP back, then maybe Belly Drum's viable. But the safe strat is always going to be turn 1 Swords Dance, and then you just Drain Punch, and then you're eventually going to win, and this is definitely going to be the solo strat. Close Combat is here just to do a way more massive amount of damage as well. But, you know, it's not necessary, but In all reality, all you need is really Drain Punch and Swords Dance with Iron Hands, but this Pokemon should actually be a beast, and I think this is going to be one of the easier mons to solo with. Next up is everyone's favorite solo mon, Annihilape, and honestly, Annihilape will be phenomenal in this raid. Let's be real, if a Terra Ghost Shadow Ball Typhlosion could not stop the solo Annihilape, then honestly most things won't, and Inteleon definitely will not be the Pokemon that stops this thing from soloing. So we always go Shell Bell because we want that HP sustain, and Terra Ghost for that Rage Fist boost. And we're going to go in Adamant Nature Max Attack. Max Spadef would probably be better in this raid, but I'm still using my old one with Max HP. And the ability Inner Focus is actually pretty decent because I'm assuming the Inteleon is going to hit Air Slash on us, 30% chance of flinching on us, which will be annoying. So Inner Focus makes it so we can't be flinched, so we can prevent that. And this is a very standard Annihilate moveset. Pretty much turn 1 and 2, we just like Screech, get that defense lowered. And then we just hit Rage Fist after that. Yeah, Drain Punch is going to do probably more damage in the beginning, get that HP sustain back. However, whenever we get damaged, our Rage Fist stacks increase by 50 and they cap at 300. Even when we faint, we'll come back with our same amount of stacks and keep building the stacks until we hit that 300 mark. So Rage Fist ends up just doing more damage than Drain Punch in close combat. And with Shell Bell, we're just going to get the HP sustain and we just won't ever die. So this thing's an actual beast and definitely the best solo raid mon in the game. And we have Kingambit as our last physical attacker. Terra Steel with Shell Bell, of course. This thing hits like a truck, has a massive attack stat. And we're going Max Attack Adamant Nature with Max Spadef as well, so we can better survive. And we're going to be doing Swords Dance Iron Head stuff. But we have Leer, no Screech unfortunately on Kingambit, but you know, we can assist in lowering defense. And we do have Snarl, which is pretty nice that we can lower that special attack stat as well. So we do have a little bit of support capability in general too. Now, Kingambit, we're pretty much going to set up Swords Dance and Iron Head and get that HP back and just try to survive. It's honestly going to be as pretty good as the other ones, but I do say not having Screech is a pretty big miss in my opinion. Now for our supporters, and you know my favorite supporter of all time, Umbreon. Well, Umbreon is going to be phenomenal once again. And I'm going to go with the item Light Clay in this case, but you can also go with Wide Lens as well, depending on what your goal is with the Umbreon. Now, I'm going Max HP, Max Spadef, plus Spadef Nature. Umbreon has a base 130 Spadef stat, so we are just going to be taking all these special attacking hits, and luckily none of them are going to be super effective, so we don't have to worry about that. So we should be really fine taking these hits. Now, what I love about Umbreon is the move sets. We have both Screech and Fake Tear support, so we can both help out special attackers and physical attackers. Now, if you're helping out physical attackers with Screech, then maybe Wide Lens is better. We have Snarl as our damaging move, but also lowering that special attack stat, so it helps everyone survive better in the raid. And Light Screen to help everyone get a boost, essentially a free +2 to everyone for 5 to 8 turns, depending if you have Light Clay or not, for your special defense stat. Now, Umbreon also gets a move called Helping Hand, which is a phenomenal move, which you would remove one either Screech or Fake Tears, depending on what your team comp's going to do. Let's say I'm with a special attacker, Goldingo, then I would remove Screech here for Helping Hand. And Umbreon's going to be an absolute beast here. So if you already have an Umbreon made, I would recommend going with it. It's always important to have one Umbreon that's max HP, max Spadef, and 1 HP, max defense. Now, another great supporter for this raid is going to be Toxapex. And what I like about Toxapex is Toxapex is going to be able to resist the water moves and the ice moves coming out here. So that's going to make it an absolute beast of a tank. And I have the item Bright Powder just because this thing has such high stats, and you don't want to use a recovery item like Leftovers and Raids. That Bright Powder is going to be pretty funny overall, but it doesn't really matter because Toxapex all it's going to do with max HP, max Spadef, and doesn't really matter the ability. We're going to be using Acid Spray, which is the best way to drop special defense stat in all of Pokemon. It goes through shields, it does a little bit of damage, -2 Spadef, it's great. Chilling Water just in case it has any sort of physical attacks, and then we can use Toxic and then Venoshock, and that's going to do a decent amount of damage. So pretty much Toxapex just stays here. It doesn't lose to anything. Even Mudshot, even though it's going to be super effective, doesn't really matter to Toxapex because we are so damn tanky. It's crazy. I mean, look at our HP and our Spadef stat numbers. Those are so high. Toxapex is going to be an absolute god. The only issue with this thing is, and compared to Umbreon, no screen support and no Helping Hand and no Screech. So you are missing out on some stuff. And of course, no Snarl. So overall, I do like Umbreon more, but Toxapex is really good too. And our last supporter is going to be Corviknight, and Corviknight's more like the supporter who can actually do some super effective damage, which is pretty nice if you want to go down that route. So we're going to go Terra Steel of Light Clay because we're going to be able to set up screens with Corviknight. And we're going to go max HP, max speed F, minus special attack nature. Your ability doesn't matter too much. You can make it mirror armor if you would like to. I'm just using one with the default ability. And the moves on this is very similar to Umbreon here, where we get the choice of Fake Tears and Screech, depending who you're teaming up with. You know, you may want to have both. You may just want to have one. It's up to you. Light Screen is going to be the best screen for this raid series, absolutely. And then Iron Head is actually going to allow us to do stab super effective damage. And with the combination of Screech here, it's going to let us do a lot of damage too. So if you want to be the supporter that does some damage and helps the raid, then Corviknight may be the Pokemon for you. But there we have it, guys. Those are all of the Pokemon that I suggest for building for the 7-star Inteleon raid. I do think there's a lot of fantastic Pokemon that could be built, and there's a lot of great strats too. And my next video is going to be covering some incredibly fast strats to defeat this Ice Terra Inteleon. My goal is to showcase some strats that we can beat it in 2 turns, and maybe even in 1 turn, and maybe even the solo strat as well. So definitely hit that like on this video, subscribe if you're new, and don't forget to ring that bell too. And of course, consider joining the Pan Fam as well below. Anyways, guys, I'll catch you guys next time. Peace out and have a good one.